Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared RAND. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for May 23, Friday, after 9:15 or 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a reverse aging health call and all the rest tonight after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. It's kind of a continuation from my TFCC. A lot of information. Retire into solitude. Seat yourself on a clean spot in an erect posture with the head and neck in a straight line. Control all sense organs. Bow down in devotion to your teacher. Then enter the lotus of the heart and meditate here on the presence of Brahman, the pure, the infinite, the blissful. Kalvalya, Upanishad. Who is your teacher? The God. All of the things that we have not really discovered truly is one of the reasons we're here in these bodies. That we enter a body, the body's born, and since we do not have recall, we're starting from scratch pretty much. And so we do the best we can with the programming from the civilization. And this is where we receive the programming. Now, if we change the programming, collectively, knowingly, because we have discovered who and what we are. So naturally, any bodies, new baby bodies, our perspective is completely different than the way it is right now on this planet. Do we need a lot of people to do that? No, not at first. I believe that we could, you know who and what you are. You have forgiven yourself. You're in surrender 24/7. You are in deep eternal gratitude 24/7, and you're gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself 24/7. At that stage, you're in the heart mind. Maybe not, you haven't mastered the ego mind yet. You know what it is. You have learned to step away from it. Whenever it tries to pull you in its direction, you use different mantras such as stop ego mind, you're not in charge. And it's a repetitive. It's like with all of us, if we repeat and repeat and repeat things, after a while it becomes automatic. We don't even have to think about it. We automatically respond knowingly. This isn't a confrontation. It's a knowing to master things that we don't care to be mastered by anymore. And we know that the cycle on the planet is designed in such a way that we do not discover, or if you will, rediscover ourselves in the true light of highly enlightened beings. And we can see this. Is it a dilemma? Not really. It could be overwhelming if you're in the ego mind. In the heart-mindedness, it's not overwhelming. It's deciding that if you have a new generation, which we do every 10 or so years, and the generation is now taught, the children are now taught by the masters. Who are the masters? The parents. They have mastered themselves. And so then they begin to master their children. The children master themselves, and we have literally eliminated the cycle. And the cycle on this planet, and we all know what the cycle is. It is a redundant, repetitive, it's a circle jerk, so to speak. We're on this wheel, this hamster wheel, and we don't get off, and we keep repeating things throughout the ages. And when you look at things, no, we don't repeat things. You'll be surprised when you look and not judge at when you're viewing or watching, and you pick up on it and you start realizing that, holy cow, we've done this so many times as a civilization. And we've done it in different ways, but it's the same root. And this is why the civilization is so twisted on so many fronts. See, it's easy for us after a while to follow a certain course. The certain course is that we develop a secure place. And the secure place is our comfort area or comfort zone that we become very complacent and we want to stay there. We don't care to leave it because for us it's safe. And the reason that is because we have been mastered by the ego mind. And this is why we create this. This is why when we will create for ourselves a total shift, so to speak, where you have to literally, it's like everything's thrown out the window and you have to really change. You adjust to it. Some people will fight the heck out of it, which brings them a lot more sorrow, pain, disappointment, fear, and all the rest. But others will just say, this is good. This is not bad. I needed this. And this is why some of these things come in our lives and we're just totally blown away. Everything has to change. Everything changes rapidly. And we do this so that we can wake ourselves up. It's easy to become complacent. It's easy to judge ourselves and others. Always has been. It almost feels like a natural state of being. But it isn't. So doesn't it make sense that each of us, we decide to focus internally and to move into heart-mindedness? And heart-mindedness is like this. You're in bliss, joy, happiness, deep eternal love all the time. Okay? To certain degrees. You are not in fear. You have no fear. You are not all tied up and stressed. You don't really have any concern or care. Only concern and care you have is for you. Now, okay, remember, this is heart-mindedness. It's not ego mind. Ego mind, people say, well, they're selfish, egotistical, arrogant, because all they care about is themselves. In ego mind, that's fairly true in most cases. In heart mind, that's not true at all. It's totally off base. We take care of ourselves. The reason we take care of ourselves and we harmonize our vibrational frequencies is so that we can help others on the planet do the same thing. Now, this isn't religion, so you're not influencing anybody. It's just by your presence, okay, that affects others. It's your presence that affects others. It's like in religion, you see sermons and you see this and you see that, and I hate them because they're not of my faith. And there's a lot of hatred on the planet because of that. And it's completely off base. If any of those people who hate, and some of them really hate, what happens is that they become affected, obviously. And it affects others. But when we decide to change directions, because we've looked at this, we've been in it a long time. We do it because we want to evolve. We really want to evolve. We want to go to higher and higher vibrational frequencies. Now, if you took everything out of the picture, okay, that you've heard, like, there's a hidden vault below the Vatican that's carrying the blueprint of the original human species, okay? Or there is a galactic flash that's going to happen and take care of everything. Now remember, And a lot of people on this planet, they don't know what bicameral is. They have no idea. Right and left brain. You realize that all the information that people discover, and it doesn't matter who it is, even these so-called great scholars, and they discover things. And then a lot of it's never shown to the people of the planet, and it's hidden and coveted and squirreled away somewhere, locked away. And what the people that are doing that, or the beings that are doing that, do not realize that the influence of bicameralism has been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions and billions of years. We evolved about 3,500 years ago. Our entire species was unconscious. And I don't mean that literally. Doesn't mean that you were just sleeping all the time, knocked out. What it means is that you weren't aware of being conscious, which means that's why people worship statues, believe statues talked. All right, in the bicameral time, you had a God King, and the God King, there was this huge mansion, these massive temples that they built then. And they built these massive temples to house a statue. And the temple was built around the statue. And so the God King would go into the house, whatever you want to call it, the mansion, and he would confer with the statue. Picture this, okay? This was globally. And the people of that region or that area would gather food and gifts and everything and bring them to the statue's house. Lay them around the statue and everything. The God King would eat the foods and everything. Of course, wouldn't eat it all, but would eat some of it. You know, like the Santa Claus comes to the house and eats a cookie. So the child wakes up and says Santa was here because the cookie has a bite in it. And it's no different. So the people then would ask the God King. The God King would come out in the courtyard, and they would all be just eyes on the God King. And they would say, whatever the name of the statue was, what did so-and-so say, God King? And so the God King would confer with all the people, and he would give them information that he believed was conveyed to him through the statue. They believed that the statues were alive, like you and I, right? They were just fixed. And there was a great source and power within the statue that would communicate only with the God King. And this went on for thousands and thousands and thousands and millions and billions of years. See? Now, imagine all of the information that has been written and collected way before us was created by bicamerals. So then you begin to realize that just about all of the information that people highly value and seek out, whatever the Vatican's hiding and whatever this is hiding. And so now imagine this. All of that, so many people have picked up on, like the flat earth and the dome or the ice wall. That is all bicameral. All of it is. It came from bicameralism. A civilization, which is our ancestral, all right? We're connected to that civilization, okay? You can call them our ancestors. And what do? Well, we're conscious beings. So we don't fit our ancestors who were unconscious. So they came out of consciousness, like I said, 3,000, 3,500 years ago. we're not unconscious. We're still in bicameral mode. And it's very important to understand that we are in bicameral mode as a civilization on planet Earth, this species. This is why we have moved ourselves into an extinction phase. This is why we have polluted the planet and destroyed 99% of all life on the planet, because we're bicameral. Not, literally. Conscious, we're conscious, but we don't know we're conscious. So we call it a bicameral mode, right and left brain communicating with one another. And this is why people hear voices. Any kind of voices, spiritual voices, you name it. This is why they hear voices in their heads. And you've read about and you've witnessed depictions of people doing things because they heard voices telling them to do it. Okay? There are other agencies on the planet that can simulate that through brain patterns to influence the decision area of the brain and direction area of the brain to make them believe, and so they pull on the left and right brain so that the vibrational frequency of voices show up. Okay? This is why the planet, because of the bicameral mode, this is why 5.7 billion people lined up to take the COVID-19 vaccination. Had we been, now, those people been conscious, okay, that they consciously aware that they're conscious, very few would have taken that vaccine. This is why so many things are collective on the planet, where the species is, if you'll notice, it's either on one side or the other. It's always a small part over here and a very large part over here. Have you ever noticed that? And the large part are the people that we call asleep, right? The small part are the people that are aware. Now, a few thousand years ago, the amount of people that were aware was like 1 or 2%, if that, right? Now it's 15%, which is absolutely phenomenal. So the people that are aware within this civilization, this species, they see things a lot differently. More and more going within because they've chosen to go within. And they're discovering, slowly but surely, all aspects of themselves and who and what they are. This is evolution. This is a spiritual evolution. And the only way evolution works is because the species has a root compelling force that says to it, you must survive. You must carry on. The species cannot end, right? So enough of the species move forward and evolve that saves the species and begins to rebuild it. In other words, populate it at a very accelerated rate. This has happened before, all right? It's like out here in the West, the wolf was very prevalent in the mountainous areas of this country. And after a while, the ranchers, the farmers, the land people got very frustrated because, they would attack their cows, they would attack because they were hungry. They wanted to eat. And so they didn't do it because they were being malicious. They did it because they were surviving. So eventually, they decided to eradicate all the wolves from the ecosystem in the West years ago. So they would take helicopters, and they'd fly around, and they would spook them out of the wooded areas, and as soon as they got them out in the open, they would just shoot them and leave them to rot out there in the fields. And they did enough of this, so it basically made the species and that part of the country extinct. So all these years later, because of certain varmints and critters that have been much more destructive to the crops and the animals that are being raised for food, that the wolf actually served a great purpose in the ecosystem. So they're repopulating the wolf, which is a good thing. And they're repopulating other species because of things that people just said that were inconvenient. Okay? And believe it or not, wild horses are expanding across the Great Plains. And so what do they do with the wild horses? Well, most of the time they take the wild horses and they kill them and they slaughter them and they use the horse meat. And they use the hoofs for glue. Right? The hooves have a collagen and they have a consistency about them. So when they mix other properties with it, you have glue. Sticks. Okay? And so you look at this and you look at the structure of everything. And most people don't know this. It kind of dies off generation after generation, so the information is never passed on, which is very unfortunate. We don't have storytellers anymore. See? Storytellers were meant to keep things in place, organized, structured, and not rumorized. That was their purpose. So from generation to generation, you would have storytellers. The storytellers would tell the children stories about the past, the ages, what occurred and how things happened and how people lived and what they ate. And these were storytellers. And the storytellers were way before schools. Okay? Schools. What's that word school mean? Well, if you get a group of people together and you give them information. Just like, believe it or not, it's like a school of fish. They're all together, right? And they all move together. So schools. And instead of storytelling, because the kids would get really excited when there were storytellers. They'd all gather around. They'd love to listen to the stories. But the interesting thing was that the stories actually had the engrams within the brain of the children. And so the children picked up and identified with the stories and got great educational information from them. The problem with our structure on this planet, and you can see it, is that people that aren't well are dictating to people who become unwell because of that. And when I mean unwell, it means perspectives, attitudes, respect, reverence for oneself, care for oneself, love for oneself, and everything else. And see, this planet, this is what's happening on this planet. And as a watcher, an observer, you see this. You're not judging. You're in art mind. That's why we do these meditations. And you begin to realize, wow, look at this. Okay, now and it helps us, those of us who are aware to a certain extent, to become more aware and more clear. And who are our teachers? The teachers are the ones who don't know. They're our greatest teachers, believe it or not. Not a guru in the mountain or in a cave. It's the ones that are asleep are our greatest teachers. I mean, when you have loved ones and relatives, I get it every day. I have communications where, my family is just out to lunch. I can't talk with them. They're not, from where I'm at, I'm not able to talk with them because they don't care to hear about it. They think I'm off base somewhere up in the clouds. And that's okay, see, because at one time, we were all that way. At one time, we were all asleep. And so isn't it interesting, fascinating, look at others, and we realize that at one time, we were like them. We had other people trying to say things and share with us, and we thought they were absolutely off their rockers. Fruit Loops and bean bags. And But then something happens within those who become aware. It's like a light comes on. It's not like it's arranged, right? Or you have it written down, okay, this is the time I'm going to become aware. You're just going about your life. Something turns on is the best way to describe it. And I'm sure a lot of you remember when that was. It turns on and you begin, you get this, it's like it's a childlike curiosity. It's voracious. And you're constantly wanting to seek things out because you have discovered that what you're doing and what you've experienced is a lie. And you want the truth. You want to know the truth for yourself, and you're motivated. The God within you begins to open up many avenues so that you're being guided by the God that you are. And you start to discover these things. And it's like you've been starving for ages, and now you have this big banquet, and you want to eat it all. But you start to realize, I got one bite at a time. How do you eat an elephant? So you take this step and that step. You read certain books. You may not read the whole book. You might read a couple of pages, put it down, you're done with it. And then there's other things that you pick up on. And there's interest that you never had before that now is front and center for you to pursue, for you to embrace. And it seems like it's like the speed of light, right? And you begin to, more and more, as time does pass, to learn more, to comprehend more. And you also, you're not into judging. There's things that you used to be, but you're no longer interested in them. You just aren't. They just kind of come and go. They pass by. Before you were really embracing them, and they were really, really great, and then it's not there. Not there anymore. And here's a common power with this species, with all species. There is no debating this. We are pure consciousness. God, divinity within these bodies. We are the kingdom of God. We are the heaven. One says, well, where's the hell? We create the hell as well. See, nothing is created for us. Collectively, we create everything. So in other words, it's like you're saying, oh, it's Sam's fault. He did it. Sam did it. Okay? But in truthfulness, in reality, it's that somehow, way, shape, or form, you were there. You created the situation by deciding to do certain things. And so that you say, no, I did this. It's okay, though. I did it. And it's not a big deal. I learned from it. If we only knew, see, this is our true natural state of being. Now, one would look at everything and say, wow, we got a long way to go. Well, in some perspectives, yeah, but what's a long way to go when it's endless? See, there's no such thing as a long way to go. Is this civilization capable of surviving extinction? Is it? I believe so. More and more people will see more and more signs of extinction of the civilization. They won't. Not too much now. Not too much now. Okay? It's more like, how you put it, kind of there, floating around, but not front and center. It's like if someone says to someone who is not aware, and they say, do you know that this civilization on planet Earth is in extinction? What do you think would happen? How do you think their response would be? It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? She said, I lend this information out. You're going to choose bits or pieces in the quiet time in this meditation. Or you may not choose any and just decide to be silent and be and listen. And then some of the answers will come through. This is why every day for over 7 years, going on to 8, we do these meditations 365 days a year. Millions upon millions of people listen to them. They don't come to the calls, but they listen to them. I know why. I know because I get a ton of communications, all from all over the planet. And it's the simplest meditation you could possibly embrace. You find a comfortable place. You have no outside interference. You relax into your body. You're as still as a statue and you're focused on your breath rising and falling. Your natural breath rising and falling. And you just be, you listen. You are not in ego-mind grip. You are in heart-mind, so the ego-mind doesn't exist. Yesterday and tomorrow doesn't exist. Only the now, only the present moment. And the present moment is all we have. It's all we'll ever have. You ever notice that when you begin, it could be during the course of your day, or in the evening, or in the morning, but have you ever found yourself going into, not intentionally, but you just kind of slip into it, where you start worrying about tomorrow? You ever done that? And how you feel when you do that. It's not a good feeling. You're worried about something, or you're concerned about something with your life that's not even there. And you're in the now. See, you're in the very moment, but you're tomorrow. This is what many do. This is what many of us do. And we do it throughout our lives. We don't realize that we manifest the very things that we don't care to experience. We manifest them. Where attention goes, energy flows. But when you become aware enough and you know this, it's quick. You move yourself back into the now. And all that stress literally floods off of you. The noise, the mind chatter, the subconscious mind randomly every day playing back 60,000 thoughts every day. This is why some of us become so fatigued. We feel fatigued. You know, we feel like a train hit us, and we're going, wow, you know, this is a real drag. But we then begin to embrace ourselves in the God that we are, to realize is that you're the rudder. You're the steerer of all of it. There's that little doubt, see, that doubt that plagues us. Am I really that powerful, the God that I am? Right? Do I really have confidence, faith, and trust in myself at 100% in this universe? Do I feel loved deeply by this universe? These are all things that we come to recognize about ourselves. And it isn't judgment, it's just we are discovering things that we want to pay attention to. We don't care to have a bulging closet in our minds where we just push everything in it and shut the door and not embrace it. And many of us on this planet in this very now live that way. It's their choice. They don't know how else to. We're only given information as we're children that was given to those who were giving us the information. It's always been passed down. There's never been really a massive shift in the consciousness of this planet until now. And the massive shift of the consciousness is that collectively there's enough of us to determine that we're going to move on. We're going into a fifth dimensional density, frequency, vibration, and we're doing this because we have decided to do it. Nothing negative about 3D. Okay? 3D taught us a lot of things, many things, priceless knowledge that we'll have with us throughout the eons. And so this evolution is a decision to save the species from extinction. And that's what a species will do. It will evolve to preserve its life. If a species doesn't evolve, it goes extinct. Read about it. Don't take my word for it. If a species doesn't evolve, it goes extinct. And that's what's happened to this civilization. It's going extinct. You're never going to be able to tell unless you comprehend what extinction of a species involves. It's taken thousands of years for us to get to this point. Millions. And so now we are presented with a choice. And some of us have chosen to move forward into higher vibrational frequency. New Earth, okay? All kinds of stories. There's all kinds of stories. And there'll be more added to it. New Earth, there's another Earth with no pain and no suffering or anything. Yeah, you know what that is? That's within us. That's the God. We create it. So does that mean that New Earth is going to be like, okay, this planet we're going to leave behind, this Earth we're leaving behind, and we're going to take a ship and we're going to go to this new Earth planet? No. We will transform the planetary population, which will then affect the planet in a highly positive way, to live in the now and heart-mindedness, to not have ego mind, because we mastered it, to be able to master our thoughts, and to know our thoughts, and to direct our thoughts. Huge, absolutely, astronomically impactful. This is all about the process of evolving into fifth dimensional density vibrational frequency. Because there's no hatred, there's no greed, there's no manipulation, there's none of that. Doesn't exist. You don't work, you help others. You manifest what you want. You don't go work for it. And you manifest through the heart mind, not the ego mind, because the ego mind's been mastered. This is how it works. We're that powerful. We really, truly are, in these bodies, omnipotently powerful. We are all drops of the golden ocean. We hold the essence of that ocean. Therefore, we are the ocean. And when we drop into the ocean, we become the ocean. Do you see any separation there? There isn't any. Then one might ask, well, why do we have, all of us have these bodies and all of us live these lives, right? And everything is separate. My clothes are separate from me. I put them on and I can take them off, right? My neighbors are separate from me. My friends, everybody's separate. It's so that we can experience. That's it. That's all it is. So we experience it. All differently, different perspectives. It's really fascinating. So in the quiet time of this meditation, listen. Listen.
And I guarantee you, a lot of the answers, the questions that you have, you'll get the answers. Now join in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out through the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on your natural breath rising and falling. You are always having an experience. Just be present to the one that's happening now. You're demanding to have an experience. You're squeezing out this one and actually missing it. The moment you stop trying to make something big happen, it happens to you and for you. Stay present to consciousness. Thinking all the time is not being conscious, if you can fashion or fathom that. Take time to just be present to your body, to your breath, to your life. Your body is your home, not your head. So keep dropping down out of your head and into your heart. Do not participate in the drama of the mind. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, the following morning. We will return here tonight, Friday, May 23, 2025, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue the reverse aging health call and all the rest. And Saturday, May 24, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. to continue the global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within you or outside of you. Open your heart, allow the magic to flow in.